Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. And man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm excited about this video today because today we're gonna be talking about picking friends, right? Now, we all know, my videos are really geared towards those young people. I like giving back. This is just an extension of me giving back, right? I like football coaching. I like mentoring, the youth, the young people, and at my age, I can literally mentor people in their 40s. Just to kind of date myself a little bit. I can mentor those people who are not necessarily, you know, really young, but they're younger than me. All right. So listen, we're gonna talk about friendship today. Y'all see the title, man. The title, what? Picking friends for young people, and we're gonna get into this thing. And before we do, I want to tell you a quick story. It's not gonna take long, and stick around, dude, because at the end of this video, I think you're gonna have a opportunity to kind of add some value to this video yourself, okay? In the comment section. But check this out. So my son and I were sitting in the car. We're in the garage. We just got home, and we were talking about friendship. And because I used to always tell him, why do you always call everyone who you know your friend? I said they're not all your friends. I said because I can remember one time you got into some trouble, and I didn't see none of your friends around. So your friends are going to be there. Your friends show up. So um, anyway, I told him, I said, I want you to take a listen to what a friend is. I called my best friend on the phone, and I pretended that we were broke down on the interstate and I needed his help. And let me tell you something, YouTube. I don't think I don't think I was finished talking to him. He was probably halfway to the car because that's my best friend, and he's gonna do what best friends do. He's gonna show up. Okay, so I then wanted my son to do the same thing, and he couldn't because he knew he didn't have anybody that would come, you know, pick him up if he's broke down, 100 miles away, because that's how far my best friend lives from me, almost 100 miles away at the time, anyway. So I just want to share that with you all because when we talk about friends, friends show up. Okay, all right. So let's jump into it. This is the good part. So friends matter because they help with your well-being. They shape a part of your happiness. They help with your mental health, right? Why? They Because of what I said earlier, they show up. Friends are gonna be there when you need a friend to be there. Okay. The importance of choosing the right friend for this, right? So the right friend positively influences your life. They positively influence your life. While choosing the wrong one can do what? Just the opposite. They can lead you down the wrong road. So always tell the young kids who I coach football, I used to say this to them. I said, in every group of kids, you see a group of kids walking around, there's a leader in the pack. Someone is the leader, and everyone else is following. And so here's the main question: where are they leading you to? Are they leading you to a positive direction, or are they leading you into a negative direction? Because truth be told, they're leading you in one of those two directions. And sometimes they set you up. Sometimes what they do is they see how crazy you can be before they start picking some of the stupid things to start to do. Okay. So um, we're going to talk about a lot of the factors in picking good friends and a lot of the signs of, for healthy friendships and things like that. We're going to talk about all that stuff. But let's talk about what makes a good friend. And we're gonna get a little deep. And listen, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not even trying to be one. I'm trying to make sure that young people pick people who add value to their life. Because if they don't add value to their life, then that means that they're taken away from their life. Okay. So good friends, they share values, meaning they understand. Remember I was saying earlier about showing up for each other, right? They know that doing good things is always the right thing to do, and doing bad things is never the right thing to do. Okay, so they understand the values. They have a a mutual respect for each other. They understand that, hey, I'm not going to get you into any trouble if you promise to not kind of get me into any trouble. Um, so that mutual, respect and understanding. Now, the next thing they do is They understand trustworthiness, right? A friend, it should be somebody who you can trust, right? When you start talking about trustworthiness, now you're talking about the foundation of friendships. Because if you can't trust them, they shouldn't even be your friend. That's the foundation of friendships, right? They got to be reliable. They keep their promises. They keep their words. Again, they show up. They're going to do what they say they're going to do, right? Another one is just they have a supportive nature, right? Hey, if you got a basketball game and they don't play basketball, guess what? They're at the basketball game. Hey, if you broke up with your girlfriend, you broke up with your boyfriend, whatever the case may be, they calling you, checking in on you, making sure that you're okay. Remember I was saying earlier, well-being, mental health, a lot of these things tie in together, right? So they have that good supportive nature about themselves, and they're genuine. It's not tick for tack. If I call you and you don't call me the next time, that means that you're not a good friend. Sometimes we don't always catch it, but a good friend is going to catch it the majority of the time, right? They also have like respect for boundaries. They're not going to step on your toe. They know what your lines are. They know where you're supposed to, you know, they know, for instance, I'm gonna use this one because I like to use the boyfriend girlfriend thing, right? If you're a boy and you got, girlfriend, your best friend is not gonna be calling your girlfriend on the side. I like to use these because these are down to earth, real things that happen, right? Um, they they're not gonna be in class and looking on your paper, cheating. Why? Because that gets you in trouble. Remember, I was saying, it's just about the boundaries. And here's a good one, and this kind of ties into one of the first ones that we met, or the second one about trustworthiness, and that's just honesty, right? A good friend can be honest with you. They can tell you, when you're right. They can tell you when you're wrong, and you know that's how that mutual respect thing kind of comes into play, right? So that's these are just some good signs of being a good friend. So on the next one, we're gonna talk about like some of the signs of a toxic friend, somebody who's not good for you. Okay. So with a toxic friend, now we're talking about somebody who's just dishonest, gonna tell you he's gonna do something, won't do it, knowing he's not gonna do it, but he's just trying to look good, trying to say he's gonna do something that he's not gonna do. That these are people you know, who don't need to be around you. In other words, they're not your friend. Okay. If a friend, frequently lies to you, or hides important things from you, things like that, they're not your friend. They're not. Um, they show a lack of support. They're not there when you're down. They're not there when you have things that's important to you. Because a friend's gonna show up. Listen, I'm gonna keep saying that until the end of this video. That a friend is gonna show up. A friend is gonna be there for you when you need a friend. Okay. Um, fr- Listen, friends don't bring drama and manipulation all into your life. That's not what a friend is gonna do. They don't stir up problems. They're not the ones looking to make things worse. They're here to make things better in your life, not worse. Um, Jealousy. They're not jealous, or they're not competitive. If someone thinks that they're your friend, if you call someone your friend and they get jealous of you because you get something that they don't get, for instance, right? You get a girlfriend. Remember, I like using real life, right? If you're a boy, you get a boyfriend. I mean, a girlfriend, or you're a girl, you get a boyfriend, and your so-called friend is jealous of you in that relationship. They're probably not a good friend. And if they're jealous, what comes with jealousy? Manipulation, trying to make things worse so that you can try to see something bad in the person, i.e., writing the person a secret note just to see how they respond to the note, so you can go back and say, hey, I wrote him a note, and he didn't throw it away, or whatever the case may be. Little small immature things, and I get it. Some of these things are going to be immature, some of these things are going to be small, but it's the small things that build up to the big things, so keep that in mind as well, right? um, they disrespect the boundaries. We were talking about the boundaries earlier, right? They disrespect those boundaries. They don't understand that your personal space is your personal space. They don't understand that they when they're pushing you into like uncomfortable situations. They don't understand it. And because and the reason why they don't understand it is because they never really tried to understand you. Okay. And so when they try to understand you, and then, there's the chemistry for a very, very good relationship. So next, man, we're gonna talk about some of the roles of, you know, of a compatible friendship. Okay. Okay. So one of those roles is just personality compatibility, right? Um, Now, what's personality compatibility? Listen, me and my friend, me and my best friend, listen, we go back. We go back a long ways. Okay. Um, we laugh. We think the same things are funny. You know, we think some of the same things are silly. We think some of the same things are stupid. Um, we typically get upset around about the same types of things, right? Doesn't mean we finish each other's sentences, but our personalities match. And because our personalities match, that makes for good understanding of each other. Okay. Because I kind of understand when he's upset, he understands when I'm upset. And sometimes being there is giving people their space. Maybe we're talking about the boundaries. Sometimes you got to give them their space, then come back in later, maybe like a day or two. Give them their space, then call and say, "Hey, I'm just calling to check on you." Right? Um, another role is like just the different types of friendships. Right? So listen, not all friends need to be the same. I'm not saying all your friends need to laugh at the same type of jokes, but some friends are just great for fun, and others are good at conversations, and some people they just good for emotional support, right? All your friends are not going to have all those characteristics, but if you have friends that have that has these characteristics, they're probably going to make for good friends, right? And you know the most people meet potential friends in various ways, right? Now, when we talk about meeting a friend, listen, I'm not gonna get too corny about this. Okay. You know, most people they meet their friends where? Right in the neighborhood. You move to a new neighborhood, you go to schools, you start hanging out with people in, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, whatever. Before you know it, you guys are growing up together, right? And that's typically how friends start, right? You move into a new neighborhood, regardless of the age, or new on the job. You got a job. You meet somebody at the job, and you guys click, and next thing you know, a little bit of time, they become a good friend, right? And how about this? How about you and someone at your job have a good relationship, and you're married, and you and that person and their wife or husband, whatever, you all go out on a couple's date or something like that, and the next thing you know, a good friendship develops. But friendships develop; they don't just happen instantaneously. And don't try to force it, because a friendship is going to develop on its own, and you'll know when you can call someone a friend. It's not just because y'all laugh and high five each other. Sometimes you got to know that a friend is just that person who you know is going to be there and shows up, and you have that gut instinct. You'll know it. You'll know it when you see it. Okay. Um, but be open to new experiences, because when you meet a new person, they have experiences that maybe you don't have. Maybe they share in things that you don't share in. But be open to new experiences. Don't be afraid to go out for the football team or basketball team, or go out for drinks after work or something like that. Even if you don't drink, sometimes just being in the atmosphere shows this person that, hey, he may not drink, but he's here with me, or she's here with me, or whatever the case may be, right? Um, and then how about this? This is a good one. Take the initiative. Take the initiative to approach people and show them who you are. Because this is me. If you don't talk, this is me. If you don't talk, I don't trust you, because I need to know who you are. And if you don't tell me who you are, Because I'm not going to go and ask anyone else. I'm going to ask you. I want you to tell me who you are. So be willing to take the initiative to kind of express yourself and talk to people and be understanding around people, right? And well, so that people can understand you. And listen, there's definitely different ways that you can detect bad relationships, bad friendships, things of that nature. But I'm gonna key in on just two real quick before we wrap this up. And one of those red flags to look out for a friend is just constant negativity. If you get someone who calls himself your friend and they're constantly negative, constantly talking about the worst in the world instead of just the best, everybody knows that there's bad things that goes on, but why we always have to focus in on the worst? Good friend is constantly trying to find the good in things, and a nice little red flag for you to know that this person is probably not good is that negativity. How about this? Making you feel bad about yourself. What kind of friend does that? Well, if you find one and they try to make you feel bad about yourself, shaming you for whatever reason, right? They could be not necessarily shaming you physically, they could be shaming how good you are at something. We hear about the people, think about kids at school who are smart and they always get, good grades. They get shamed as if getting good grades is a bad thing, right? Oh, you're a nerd. Well, I'll be a nerd. If I'm getting all A's, that means I'm learning. That means I understand the information. And you can take that concept all the way up through your 30s and your 40s. A bit of people trying to make you feel bad about who you are, as a person yourself. So listen, the last thing I want to talk about is just friendships and personal growth. So, you know, a good friend is going to challenge you to grow. Okay. They want you to, now I'm talking to the older young people now, right? Once you get into your 20s and your 30s, a good friend is going to talk to you about, let's say you didn't, you know, you're not getting the job that you want, and maybe you don't have the education. And then a good friend is going to say, hey man, why don't you go back to school? You know, this is just an example. Hey man, why don't you go back to school? Getting a associate's degree. I'm sure that'll help you on your job. Because maybe they're looking for someone with a little bit more education, or they're gonna challenge you to grow by talking to you about finances. Hey, why don't you get into investing and doing the right things with your money instead of blowing all your money? They're trying to stretch you to get you to see positive things that you can do that can better your life, right? That's what a good friend will do for you. They also have like just that mutual respect for change, right? Now, what I mean by that is this: over time, we already know that people change, and so when, like for instance, me and my best friend, we go back. I'm gonna date myself a little bit, but me and my best friend, we go back to 1988. We met in 1988. We are definitely not the same people who we were in 1988 now. Okay, brand new in the Marine Corps at the time, and we met each other shooting some basketball, and man, we just never stopped being friends. And but that guy who he met is not the guy that you're looking at on this video right now, and he's not the same guy who I met, on that base back in 1988. We've evolved, and because we've evolved and we stayed in contact and we stayed connected to each other, we had that mutual respect for those changes that we see. He do things all the time I don't like, and he know it. But I tell him, and guess what? He'll tell me when I'm wrong too. And that's another good mark of a good friend. I love him to death, and that's another thing. When you have that good friend, you'll be able to say that you love your friends. You'll be able to say it, right? So if you can't say, "Hey, I love you," when you're hanging up on the phone, I don't care if it's a guy talking to another guy. If you love your friend, you love your friend. You love your brothers. If you got brothers, you love your sister. You got sisters. You say you love them. Yes, a friend should be one notch underneath your blood brothers and blood sisters. And truthfully, they should get the same type of respect that you give to your brothers and your sisters because they're just that close to you. So listen, in conclusion, and just kind of wrap this up, choosing friends who respect you, choosing friends who understand you, all positive things. Okay. Stay away from the people who want to take away from you. Stay away from people who want to shame you. These are not good friends for you. And even if they try to apologize, okay, listen, you do something once, benefit of the doubt, right? Because everybody doesn't understand. But when you do it twice, after I've already told you, now I'm calling into question whether or not you're a good friend for me. You do it that third time, yeah, we're done. We're done. So listen, I hope you got some value from this, man. If you did, do me a favor, just hit the like button. It doesn't cost you a penny to do that. If you think that this is a channel for you, do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Um, I'm new to this, but I promise you, as time goes on, my videos will get better. My videos will, the content will be, more exciting and whatnot. Right now, I'm getting the things out that I feel that's needed, the things I see that's going on in the world right now, that we definitely need to make sure that we reach back to some of these young people and make sure they understand. So listen, I'm gonna give you a little homework assignment, okay? And that homework assignment is this, right? Um, reflect, reflect on your friendships, and do me a favor. After you reflect on your friendships, just for a few minutes, drop me some comments and tell me who's your best friend, not by name, like, who's your best friend, what kind of person are they? Okay. Let me know this too. Have you ever had any best friends or any good friends that you had to let go because they changed to the point where it became toxic? Let me know that too. Okay. Drop that stuff down in the comments. Let's chop it up, man. Hey, as always, I appreciate you all for stopping in. Thank you so much. The channel's going to grow. I want you to grow with it. And as I always say on this channel, man, continue to think and grow. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.